All right. Hey, job board fans. My name is Chris Russell from Job Board Secrets. I'm a longtime entrepreneur who now helps job board owners and launch and grow their internet businesses. Today, I'll be chatting with Roberto Angulo, CEO of Recruitology. It's a cloud-based recruiting platform that leverages AI to connect employers with the right talent. And he's also the co-founder of AfterCollege.com, an entry-level job site that's been around for over 20 years now. So if this is your first time watching, be sure to subscribe and hit that like button on YouTube. So, Roberto, welcome, and tell the channel where in the world are you today?
Chris, thank you. Yeah, good to see you. So I'm based in San Francisco. So the company has been traditionally headquartered in San Francisco. Actually, it's interesting to I'll let you know that we were 80% virtual pre-COVID, and now after COVID, we're 100% virtual.
100%
So
virtual. Okay.
so
How
most
big
of,
is the company these days? How many
I
employees?
think we're getting close to 50 team members, 50, and there's three of us here in San Francisco. There's probably about a dozen here in the Bay Area. We had a good team in Houston, Indianapolis now, Vancouver, and then spread out throughout the US, uh, Canada, Mexico now, and then we have a member who's actually working out of Europe for a few months,
Really?
indefinitely.
Okay.
Yeah, in Portugal.
Um, so what's San Francisco like these days?
San Francisco is actually rebounding. So it was really quiet. There was a lot of press about people fleeing the city. And if you go downtown, it is empty. If you want to go get a cup of coffee, you have to walk a lot before you find anything
Nope.
that's open. So Phil's Coffee is what I found actually last week when I went there. But if you look at sort of kind of more like the neighborhood areas of the city, they're thriving. So I think people stay at home. San Francisco has done a good job with slow streets, where they've actually partially shut down traffic
Mhm.
or car traffic. So it's actually a very walkable, beautiful city, and it's sunny today. Like it's very
Nice.
sunny.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Um, Anybody on your team get COVID or anything throughout this whole ordeal?
Unfortunately, we had a team member who had a death in the family because of COVID.
Really? Okay.
So we're pretty sad about that. So I know everyone has their thoughts on vaccinations, but I'm a very strong proponent of getting vaccinated, right?
Absolutely.
So I
Absolutely.
encourage everyone
Yeah. I
to do it.
mean, it's, I think the stat now is that the people who are in the hospital, or 99% of them, are not vaccinated. So if that's the reason
97%.
to get a vaccine, that's it, right?
Exactly. So, but yeah, knock on wood. I mean, yeah, one death is more than enough in our sort of recruitology family. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, we don't hear any or many of those anymore.
Definitely. Well, how's business these days? Just give me a quick thought on what's going on in the market right now.
Business is great. So we are up about 40% this year over year, and that's I think partially due. I would say a big part due to the rebound. Hiring rebound is definitely making a difference, but it's also we've expanded into additional channel partners. But we're definitely seeing an increase in hiring activity. In our case, we have about 20 verticals that we track, um, and the strong ones for us, the top five are like education, um, manufacturing and production, technology, software, healthcare, and I'm forgetting the fifth. Sales is a big one. And the one that we're still sort of seeing coming back are restaurants, food service. So that was sort of below our top 20, but now it's in our top 20 category. So we're seeing that one come back. So we're happy about that and optimistic.
Yeah. Starting with after college, give me that's over 20 years old now, right? Well, tell me.
Yeah, 20, actually it'll, yeah, 21 years old this year. So I started after college, 2 years at a college, just because I didn't know what I wanted to do after college. So started after college, grew after college, and it's still growing and going. So we have a small team managing after college. It's mainly a student run, or it's mainly a student focused service. So it's a two-sided marketplace. Um, and I think it's like the third most popular or fourth most popular site for college students now. So Indeed is number one when you ask college students. LinkedIn is number two. Um, their career center is number three, and then we tend to hear that after college is number four. And the reason for it is that we sort of took this sort of non-traditional kind of disruptive approach to college. So when we built it, it was a job board, but our unique differentiator was that we were partnering with faculty members. So a lot of sort of kind of the underground activity where the hiring happens is with between alumni and their departments. So a lot of companies were going directly to their departments, bypassing career services. And that's actually where most of the good jobs were when I was in Stanford, right? So, and the Career Center was not capitalizing on that at the time. So we grew after college by building relationships with faculty, creating job boards for them in some cases, creating custom job feeds and alerts for them. And that's actually still the secret sauce of after college. I mean, not so secret, but the unique value prop that an employer can access students not found anywhere else, because students are notoriously like passive and they'll wait until the last minute to look for a job. So if an employer wants to reach students, um, the ones that are really savvy about college recruiting are using after college to sort of complement their on-campus activity by going to the professors, and that's the network that we maintain. After college is about 18,000 faculty members. And then, so what we did is in 2015, we basically spun out Recruitology from after college. So after college, we had a very strong partnerships team, and we had a lot of reseller partners selling job postings into after college. A lot of media companies like Houston Chronicle, New York Times at the time, and a handful of others. And at the time, these partners were asking us for more than college. So we ended up partnering with a company called Crosspost. And Crosspost, they had developed partnerships with like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and they were basically creating hooks into all these different job boards. So what we did is we basically took the partnerships team of after college, and we took that out of after college. We actually ended up acquiring Crosspost, and then we rebranded that group as Recruitology. So that's an entirely different group. Recruitology is most of my focus these days, although my kind of after college is still that baby, like I love the service and we continue to improve upon it. We're actually going through a massive rehaul right now at the back end and adding some features. But Recruitology, what it is, it's a one-stop kind of solution for employers, right? So it's the idea is you post an after college, and we have I think when we spun it out, we had 100 media partners selling into after college, what is now the piece that is now Recruitology. Now we have over 500 reseller partners posting through Recruitology. And Recruitology is the largest provider of HR recruiting technology to the media industry in the US now. So we work with most of the top names like Gannett, McClatchy, BH Media, all these media companies that sort of reach the local SMBs. And these SMBs, they're business owners that they're not going to stay on top of recruiting trends because they just don't know, they don't have time. So they're going to the local media company. Well, Recruitology sort of helping these media companies capture that activity and distribute the jobs to over 400 job boards throughout the US and Canada.
You power that tech, right? That's your technology on the back end?
Correct. So we don't power the job boards. The only one we own is after college and a handful of other sites. But we mostly partner with best of breed sites, right? So we have connections with ZipRecruiter, Indeed, Craigslist, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and then we're also posting to a variety of niche sites. So disabledperson.com, which is I'm a big fan of, is a site that we post to. We're posting to state unemployment job boards. So I think overall we're getting close to 400 top job boards that we distribute jobs to. And again, the only one we own is after college, but we sort of keep those siloed so that there's no conflict of interest there, right? So we treat after college as we treat any other partner site.
For the employer, that's a cost per click service?
It's a combination of cost per click. So the employers that are savvy enough, they'll put some budget behind it and say, hey, we want to promote these 5 jobs or these 30 jobs. So then we're distributing the jobs out and we're paying the job boards CPC. Sometimes we're even paying per posting, and we're taking the risk that we'll get enough applicants, but we're billing the client either on a CPC or a CPA basis. So we're actually doing cost per applicant as well. And we've started testing that, and we're doing, the way we're doing it is pretty cool. Like we're actually applying quality thresholds there. So if we have access to the candidate resume, we can parse it anonymously and see if it's a match to the job, and if it's not, then we don't bill that CPA against the campaign. So we're very good about billing what we think is quality traffic back to the campaign. But a lot of these guys are SMBs, so what I say is, like, a lot of employers are buying programmatic via Recruitology when they don't even know they're using Recruitology, and they don't even know they're doing programmatic because they don't know what it is. So they could be paying a flat posting fee to one of our reseller partners under, and we're white label in that case. So we're basically getting paid a per posting fee. And then we're basically taking a chunk of that, a good chunk, and then advertising jobs with a budget, right? So the employer just knows, I just paid $300 here, $200 here to advertise this job, and we're doing the programmatic behind the scenes, and they're just getting results. And we also, actually, diversity is our second biggest selling product. So we have a diversity network that's comprised of most of the top diversity sites in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more of a per posting basis. So employers are paying to distribute their jobs to our diversity network. But again, it's going to all these diversity partners. And we give the diversity partners credit for the traffic they're giving back. So that's how that works.
Very cool. I mean, I kind of describe the company as basically I guess like a job marketing company, because you basically help get that job out there. Would you say it's a fair assessment of kind of what you do in a nutshell?
Yeah, so I would say we're a platform for resellers. So our reseller partners are media companies, large ones like Gannett. And we're a solution for employers, right? So the employer can go in, post once, and the job gets distributed. So I think we're a platform above, like, that sits on top of other job board platforms for our reseller partners, and for the employers, just a very convenient way to distribute their jobs without them having to kind of turn the knobs of where the job goes, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're there's Appcast, right, which is a great provider of programmatic advertising solutions, and I think that's more for employers that are very tech savvy and know what they're doing. So we've taken a different approach, where it's more simplified, and it's more post once, and it's more set it and forget it. You don't have to turn any knobs. And for a small employer, they don't have time, right? And they don't want to do that. Large employers do, so they would go to more kind of a more hands-on solution, like an Appcast.
You've got some other products here I'm on your product page. You've got career fairs, Facebook audience campaigns, company career pages. Talk to me about some of that stuff. I think virtual career fairs. Did you just launch that last year?
We did. And I'm pretty self-deprecating, and I kind of put myself down. So I'll tell you, and I'm saying that because what I told the team at the time is, like, hey, the last thing the world needs is another virtual career fair platform. So we ended up using a third-party solution, and then our team quickly figured out that wouldn't integrate with our platform. So we went ahead and built something in May of last year. And I'll say it's pretty good. I think our solution is among the top 2, 3 in the market. And the reason it sets itself apart is, I think it's very simple to use from a job seeker and employer perspective. And we've added AI into the mix. So one of the main ways we've added the AI in there is that if an employer sets up a booth and they have a couple of recruiters there ready to chat, the employer is going to get the list of candidates, and if there's like 50 job seekers waiting in line to chat either via text or video with the employer, that list is not going to be sorted by who got there first. It's actually going to be sorted by relevance. So we've actually have taken the resumes in, we've parsed them, and then and we're basically able to provide the employer a way to save time. And same for the job seeker. When they register, we're automatically recommending, hey, based on your resume that you just uploaded, talk to these guys. And that's like our own proprietary NLP, natural language processing, at play that's doing that matching. And yeah, we launched it during COVID because a lot of our partners were doing physical job fairs, and all that went away, right, during COVID. So we just scrambled and we put something together that we've just been building over the past year. And it's done pretty well for us in terms of revenue, profitability, and just satisfaction from employers and partners that are using it. So that sort of has given us another business line that, to be honest, I think we're thinking does it stand on its own, or do we split it off and sort of create its own separate team around it? Or right now it's still within Recruitology.
Yeah. What does that service cost for an employer? Like, give me a typical. I want to hold an event. How much do you charge them?
So that's a good question. It varies whether it's like a video or a text only event. And I want to say I want to say the average cost is about 4,000 per event. But we help manage it. We help basically troubleshoot and set it up.
Yeah.
I think
You
we've
promote
driven
it
the
too for
price
them?
down. Sorry?
Do you promote it as well for them, for the employer?
We have a promotion service, so if the employer wants that, we can provide it. But typically we're doing it for partners that are already driving audience through like a combination of like TV advertising, radio ads, and so on. But I know we promote it as well through our network.
Yeah. You've also got moonlighting on here on your product page. What's that about? Do you partner with
So
them or?
we do. So moonlighting and Recruitology had a close relationship. So Jeff Tenery, who's their CEO,
Yeah.
and Moonlighting actually got acquired last year. So they, when they were starting building their gig network of workers, we added Moonlighting into the mix. And Moonlighting is in reality one of the networks that we provide to employers. So I mentioned diversity. We have social. We have entry level. Moonlighting is part of our gig network, and it's more sort of for freelance jobs. But we call it out on our product page just because gig is so big and strong that we wanted to sort of call it out, especially these days. I think we need to do the same thing with diversity. I don't think we did a good job at calling out our diversity offering on the page, but
Yeah, I would definitely highlight that as much as you can right now. I mean, diversity is
it's huge.
probably the hottest part of online recruiting right now. I mean, you
I
saw Way
agree.
Up just got acquired for their product, and diversityjobs.com just got acquired as well. So
Yeah, good. Yeah. Jason, I know Jason over at Yellow. Good. Yeah, good. Congratulations to Jason. I know Eric Shannon over at diversity at LabPro, and I haven't spoken to him yet, but I think he's pretty happy about that.
yeah, totally. Um, Talk to me about job seeker activity right now, Roberto. I'm looking on your site here. You've got some numbers on here in terms of average clicks you get on a job, average applications. It says 8.7. But have you seen an increase in job seeker activity in the last couple of months, maybe? Then there was, last year was down across the board for pretty much every job board out there. But what do you see
Yeah.
from a job search activity standpoint lately?
So we're definitely seeing an uptick in activity. So if I look at the after college side, there's definitely more traffic this year than last year, right? So there's more students registering in after college and searching. Um, on the Recruitology side, I'm seeing mixed. So I'm seeing mixed results. If it's sort of high level jobs, meaning like sort of professional level, high paying jobs like software developer, project manager, and so on, I think we're getting more traffic from our job board partners, meaning more views, more clicks. And then if you look at more sort of the lower paying jobs, like the food industry jobs and so on, we're not seeing as much activity. And one theory we have based on customer feedback is that maybe the stimulus checks are preventing people from, or they're enticing people to stay home and sort of wait a little bit more until they go out and look. Whereas people who are able to work from home, they've sort of gone past the COVID sort of worry period where they're not certain what's going to happen. People are getting more confident about searching for jobs, right? So people are starting to kind of look and move, right? So I think if you have the high paying jobs, we're seeing more activity there. Whereas some of the lower paying jobs, we are seeing activity, but it's costing more to get that activity. So in our case, when we distribute jobs, we're paying for that distribution. We're not doing free, right? So we do pay for distribution. Our goal is to maintain the same or higher level of activity. So I can tell you we are seeing an increase in cost per click. So when we post to other sites, we're seeing it in more expensive cost per click.
Very good. So let's talk about job marketplaces for a bit. I mean, you're seeing there's a lot of sort of what I call next generation job marketplaces coming up. Things like the Mom Project and Upwork, things like that, right? What do you see when you look at the market as far as online recruiting, a job marketplace, job board, whatever you want to call it? How do you think it's going to evolve in the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
I mean, I think, and I'm gonna borrow a phrase from an investor that I spoke to last week. He said the riches are in the niches, which I kind of liked. And so I think niche is going to be around. I think two-sided marketplace like Upwork, um, and the Mom Project are here to stay. And I think you'll have more of those. I think as long as you come up with an audience that's unique to you, right? In the case of after college, almost nobody can reach the students that we can access through the professors, right? They're not the ones actively looking online. Um, that's the value there for after college as a niche site. Same for disabled person, right? They have sort of a group of founders that really care about sort of the audience, that are nurturing that audience and promoting the site to that type of audience, right? I think that's going to be a valuable site to employers. Um, what's the other one? Flex jobs, right? Flex jobs, they cater to job seekers who want to work from home remotely, and they make it really easy for the job seeker to sign up. They're creating jobs. So I think as long as you're somebody bringing a unique audience that nobody else is serving in the same way, or that nobody else is reaching or offering to an employer, there's a future there, right? Um, I mean, two-sided marketplaces are hard. Number one, because you have to figure out a way to get that niche audience that the employer can't get on Indeed, right?
Yeah.
Or LinkedIn. And then the second thing is then you have to, I mean, as I call it, create your competitive matrix to show an employer how you're different from other players out there, right? I mean, there's so every site is so nuanced that the employer often can doesn't need to pick between one or the other. They can use two or three different sites, right? So that's the thing. And then the third is convincing the person that's interested to approve the budget to spend money on your job board, right? And that's what I've seen as sort of the work involved, because sometimes the person using the service is not the same person approving the budget, and then you
Right.
have to get that person to sort of approve the spend, right? Indeed is a piece of cake. Nobody gets fired for spending jobs on Indeed, right? Indeed
Right.
is the largest, but when it comes to niches, you have to build your audience, but also convince the employer that they should be spending money with you.
So give me some tips around that. Like how, if you're starting new today with a new niche, whatever the niche is, what are some things you would do from the start to sort of lay that foundation, lay that groundwork for some sort of success there? Like, do you have any tips or tactics there you can share?
So I would say number one, make sure you have a unique audience that nobody else has, right? Or that somebody else, it's going to be more expensive for that employer to go through that other employer or that other service, right? So I'll give you an example. In the early days of after college, we were getting these students signing up through departments and professors, right? And then LinkedIn is strong on college campuses, right? They've sort of, I think, achieved their goal on saying, hey, we're either going to get the students on campus or we're going to wait until they graduate and go to the workforce. But if you look at LinkedIn in college, I think at the time we were saying 47% of after college users have LinkedIn profiles, or 37%, some low number. So the other 63%, 53% did not have LinkedIn profiles. So that's a unique differentiator, right? I would say create a competitive matrix of the features or the things that set you apart from other services, so that the employer knows. And then just create a one sheet that person can take to their superior and say, hey, we want to use this site because of this, right? So just don't make them remember, just make it easy for them to take it to their boss.
Like a media kit, yeah.
Yeah, but keep it simple. Like the person doing the approval is not going to look at a 5-page PowerPoint even, or a Google slide. They're just going to look at one page at most, or maybe 2, 3 different bullets.
Yeah, I like that. I like to keep it simple. And one page, yeah, yeah. So a
So I would
simple
say,
one page PDF would be fine out there if you're looking to do this. And
audience, right? Audience, make sure you have a niche audience, make sure you have a way to differentiate it and make it easy for people to get approval for the budget that you're going to spend on your site, and then keep innovating, right? I mentioned after college going through a massive rehaul. I think technology is evolving. New sites are coming up with new stacks, right? So what we built 20 years ago using technology then is not going to perform the same as something built this year using the latest and greatest technology on Google Cloud, right? So make sure you keep investing periodically and updating your technology. Like even like clicking from page to page, make that simple so that it's within page sort of changing or updating as opposed to kind of waiting for a link to load.
About marketing though, Roberto? What it's a pretty noisy market out there. It's tough to get the attention of both seeker and employer now. Um, any thoughts around what you would do there with a new job board?
I think it's hard if you don't have a unique way to get job seekers. I think that's hard, right? Eh, Otherwise, I think you're just competing with everyone else on having good SEO and SEM on Google, right? Uh, but if you have a unique way of getting an audience, then that's going to set you apart. I think content marketing focused at your niche audience, if that's what they want to see, is a good way to kind of do it. I think you can do a lot without doing paid. On the employer side, I think going through the agencies, right? Going through marketplaces. Like if you have a unique audience, for example, that's either reaching diversity, entry level, um, people with disabilities, etc. Companies like ours, like Recruitology, we will promote your site and we'll distribute jobs to you and pay you for those jobs. So try to approach services like Recruitology that they're distributing jobs to quality niche sites. And I think try doing that, going through partners and intermediaries before going direct, because again, going direct, a small employer is not may or may not care about a niche. Maybe if it's an industry niche, they will. If it's a large employer, they will go through their agency or their ATS to get access to your site. So
By
try
the way,
to
do you
work.
have like a sign up page or anything for job boards to go and participate in one of your networks?
Actually, I think there's something in the site, but if somebody's interested, they can just email me, rangulo@recruitology.com. And there's a contact us form on
Mm,
Recruitology, so you can fill it out and just say, hey, I have a job board. This is my unique audience. Like to see if we can work with you guys to get some of your employer jobs.
yeah, very cool. I just got one more question for Roberto, and I appreciate your time today. Thanks for the all the advice. Looks like you wrote a book, "Getting Your First Job for Dummies."
Yeah,
You're part of that series. What was that experience like for you? And when did
uh,
that book come out?
that was cool. So that book came out in 2018, and so Wiley approached me and saying, "Hey, do you want to write a book?" And my first answer was like, "No, I don't even have time to write books or to read books, right?" So Wiley said, "We'll help you." So I mean, it was cool. It was kind of cool. Number one, getting asked to write a book, and number two, um, having it be one of the Dummy series books. So I thought it was pretty cool. So it was a lot of work. I think I spent maybe in total about 400 hours at nights and on planes writing chapters. So they assigned me an editor who was basically cracking the whip to make sure I submitted chapters on time. So it's not something where I just kind of laid on the beach and wrote a chapter as I thought about it. It's more like, they give you an outline or they work with you to create an outline. So I sort of created a table of contents, and I felt pretty good about it because it was basically taking like 18 years of experience of sort of like what we see college students struggle with, um, and what I kind of went through when I was looking for my first job before I started after college. And it was like the advice that we give students, the advice that the team gives students. So I sort of was able to compile it into this sort of roadmap. And I think the roadmap is pretty solid. And then from there, it was just easy filling in the blanks and writing the chapters, right? Writing the outline is actually the hardest part. And then when you get an editor, it makes it a lot easier. I mean, the book's done fairly well for a college book, right? And it's still selling because I see data and the reports from time to time. But
Yeah.
yeah, highly recommend it. I mean, not just to tout my own book, but the one thing I'm proud of is they said write 300 and something pages, 350, and I think I kept it under 300. So I really distilled it into what matters, and it's not just for college grads. It's for anyone looking for a job. I recommend the book. It's like my philosophy is keep things simple, and I've kept it simple. So
Yeah. Well, books seem to be the new CEO marketing tool because now everyone's got like ZipRecruiter. Ian Siegel published one. The co-founders of Greenhouse, the ATS, published one. I think Jerome Turnick from Smart Recruiters has one as well.
oh wow.
So there's a whole bunch of CEOs now writing books, which is it's an excellent marketing tool as well too. So
You should do a show with all of us talking about
yeah,
our
we
books.
should do a CEO roundtable, a book club.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you guys. But awesome. Well, this has been great catching up, Roberto. I'm glad to see you. Going to any conferences? Going to HR Tech at all? Or
Yeah. We're looking at going to HR Tech, so that'll be. Actually, I think we were at a conference last week. I didn't go in Florida.
oh,
And HR Tech is the one that we're starting to talk about. So
Yeah, I just booked my flights, so I'll be there.
Okay, good to know. So that's
Catch up.
encouraging. Hey, yeah, good to see you. Glad we made it, the other side of COVID for now,
Yep.
knock on wood. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you in Vegas at HR Tech.
All right, man. Onward we go.
Chris, take care.
Take care, brother. Thanks a lot.
All right, talk soon. Bye.